Welcome back to Regina's World. Forgive my nails, first of all, I'm taking them off. But we are here to do our weekly review of Married to Medicine. This is a week that I have to push through because I don't feel like being on camera today, so I just threw on some lashes, threw on a little lip gloss, and said, let's get into this video, okay? So, Married at First Sight. Did I say Married to Medicine? Married at First Sight. Season 11, I believe this is episode 6. This was a good episode. It's getting better as it goes on. Again, I have a lot of opinion because it had a lot going on in this one episode. I tell you, their honeymoons be off the chain. I love their honeymoons. It be making me wanting to find out where they went, what destination it was, because that Mexican honeymoon was off the chain. I tell you that. So again, I'm sitting at my trusty computer for my cheat sheet because I forget their names. So let's get into this video and review of each couple and what happened throughout this episode. So we're gonna start off, of course, with my favorite couple, Amelia and Bennett. They went for a few excursions. They had a cute little get together. I mean, a cute little fort thing. I don't really have nothing really bad to say about them yet. Like, I just don't. As I say from review after review, I love this couple from start to finish. I don't see them getting divorced. I see them being together. So I don't really have anything negative to say about Amelia and Bennett. They're not giving anything that is a concern other than her job in the future. But they seem to be on the same page. They seem to be working together. They seem to just like each other in general. So I don't see them having a problem. Their biggest fight, I'm interested to see what they'll fight about in the future outside of her profession and him moving. So next episode may give me a little bit more insight of how they're going to navigate into her professional life. But I mean, right now I don't really have anything much to say about them other than I just like them as a couple and I'm rooting for them. Now let's get on to the real drama. Okay. Let's move on to Christina and Henry. You know, the couple that I like the least, right? So they went, I'm trying to think of the excursion they went on. What did they go do? What did they go do, people? Help me out. They went paddleboarding. AKA, I'm doing that in a few weeks. I'm going paddleboarding with a friend at the Lake Las Vegas out here. So that should be pretty fun, pretty dope. So that was the first time I actually seen him like kind of opening up, you know, having a little fun, letting himself enjoy, you know, experimenting, being adventurous. At the table when they all was together. Oh, right. Okay. When they was all together as a couple at the table and they was rating each other and talking about, you know, have their kisses and stuff. And I just don't get it. Is he a virgin? Because she's beautiful. Christina's beautiful. He's dorky. So I'm just getting like, is he a virgin? Because he's not doing anything. And he's the one talking about, let's take it slow. But your wife is saying, you know, at least kiss me, hold my hand, show me some affection, hug me at night, you know, do something. So I'm like, has he ever had sex before? Because if he has, like, then they may explain it. But then on the other hand, I swear, I told you previously, a part of me believes that he may have some kind of, you know, mental disorder or some kind of disorder that's preventing him from, you know, that's preventing him, that he's not talking about, that he hasn't said. Because there's something off about Henry that I can't put my finger on, but everybody see it. He's awkward, he's weird, and something's off about him, something's wrong about him. And I'm sure that they saw this when they was interviewing him to be on the show, that something is not right with Henry. To put him with Christina, a lively individual, he just wasn't a good fit in the first place. Why did they do this? Because he shouldn't have been on here. So I think there's something more deeper going on with Henry that we don't know. And I don't know if they're going to discuss it on TV or whatever it is. But when she gets back to his family, she need to ask him, because it's just not that he's take things slowing at his pace. There's something that's lacking. And it needs to be addressed, because it's making him seem weird and crazy and you know, awkward and don't talk, and that's a delay to me. That's something there that's wrong with Henry, in my opinion. I have 2 children who, one was autistic, born autistic, and the other was born with cerebral palsy. And I know delays, and I see physical functions that is not accurate all the time, because I have 2 disabled children of my own, and they deal with mental disorders and deal with social issues. So I don't know why. I just feel like this is just, I don't know, it's just some kind of exploitation or something to me. I don't know that they played him and her to a real chance of finding happiness and love, and I think they're doing Henry wrong and him an injustice of having someone who's dealing with something, social anxiety, or he's dealing with something that shouldn't been exploited on this TV show. So once again, I think Lifetime was not right for matching him. I don't agree with him being on the show, and I do not agree with them being matched together. So I'm not gonna spend any more time on Christina and Henry. We're gonna move on to Miles and Karen. Okay, so they wake up, and you know, they're on their honeymoon, and I'm trying to think of everything that each couple did while they were on their honeymoon. They spent a lot of time at the water, and they had a conversation when they was at the water about him having chronic depression. That is a subject I am very much in tune with, because I'm married to someone who, again, has bipolar disorder. How she handled it, I don't really know how I feel about how she handled it. Well, not even how she handled it. It's just how her idea of him, because I don't think she really likes him, right? Because she keeps saying she wants a masculine man. He's not masculine. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I said previously, I would love to see the kind of guys that she was dating previously, because it would make more sense of what is it about Miles that she doesn't like. Does she not find him attractive? It's because he's a heavier guy. I mean, because he's a nice, sweet man. Like, there's nothing there's not to like about Miles. Maybe in her previous relationships, they was the more aggressive, or, you know, I don't know, but there's definitely a difference in what she used to date and Miles, and she keeps referring to it. She's used to a more masculine man. What is it that she consider masculine? You know what I mean? I would love to know the comparison of her long-term relationships that she referred to, that she's had 2 or 3 in her lifetime. What does she consider masculine? A man who treats her with respect, a man who treats her with chivalry, you know, is compassionate, you know. Is she not used to that? You know what I mean? She's not used to somebody who actually is trying to, you know, be nice to her. Is that not masculine? Like, I would love to know. So when they had the discussion of him having chronic depression, that hit home, because I was like, oh God, only if she knows what she's into. And he said you're for a ride. I know, because my husband goes through the most extreme emotions, and I don't know if you know how severe his depression is, but I know how it gets with somebody who has bipolar. So he just maybe have moments of he just get in a deep depression and funk, and he gets out of it. Bipolar is different, so I know how stressful that is on the individual that is married to you, in a relationship to you. It takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of patience, and knowing her, she's never dealt with somebody who's had, you know, some kind of mental disorder, and she has a, you know, a lot to learn about that, and it's going to test her in a way of, can she handle that long term, because it's not easy. It's not easy when you having fights and arguments with somebody who's already having a mental disorder, who maybe something would trigger him even worse. Like myself, I can have an argument, get over it. Well, I'm not the easiest to get over it quickly, depending on what it is that you've done. You know what I mean? So, but him, it could probably put him in, you know, a deeper funk, and it takes him a longer time to get out of it. And she's not the most communicative person as it is, and he seems like he can communicate pretty well, but when he get in his funk, how good can he communicate? You know what I mean? How good can he be able to express that? I need time alone. I need to be by myself. I'm not trying to attack you. I don't want to say anything that's going to hurt your feelings. Just give me some space, and that may affect her in a way. She may feel neglected. You know, it's so many things that goes into dealing with somebody who has a mental situation. That goes with counseling, and goes with, you know, a lot of calling family members for help because I'm so frustrated. I want to beat his face in. You know, it goes a lot goes into that. You know, so she's going to have a challenge with that, on top of her trying to figure out if she even liked Miles, period. You know what I mean? So at the table again, when they were all talking about they're rating their relationships, what did she say? Did she say a 5 or a 6? You know, he's a very patient man. I gotta say that he's doing a great job at, you know, trying to accommodate her and make her feel special and make her feel like he's there for her and all that. You know, and she's saying that she's afraid if he might change in the future. It's possible, because they're in paradise. Every single person on this show may change after they get out of paradise and get into their normal routines. So that's a valid concern, to see how he really is in real world outside of the paradise that is Mexico. So I just hope that she kind of opened up to him. And at the table when they was having lunch, and they were talking about the sex, which was a good topic that he brought up, because he was like, look, we don't have to progress like everybody else, but we have our own pace and stuff. But you know, how long are we talking? And she was like, it could be a year. He was like, it ain't gonna be no year. I was waiting for him to say, yeah, you're gonna be divorced, because you ain't finna make me wait a year. And that'd be unfair. You know what I mean? That would be unfair. And again, everybody knows if you are interested in somebody. You know what I mean? Within the first 5 minutes, you know that this person is going to get the coupe, this person is going to get the D. You know what I mean? Because you're physically attracted. Sometimes, you know, over time attraction builds, and that's true. Over time attraction does build, because I'm not physically attracted to everybody, but like there's people that I have worked with in the past, wasn't physically attracted to them all at all, but over time of being with them every day, spending hours on end with these people, you learn them past their looks, and then you become attracted to somebody that you didn't even think you were going to be attracted to. So I think that may be a help in the future with when they're living together. If she see him living his normal life, being masculine, taking care of business, helping with the bills and the finances, and in his normal life, that might help her build her attraction. I hope, because to me, again, he's not ugly, but you know, he's not attractive to everybody. You know, his size can be an issue for her, which he's not a huge guy. As long as his peen can accommodate, you know, how tall he is, how big he is. If his peens is just as long, you know, I would be a happy camper. I ain't even lying, because he's my kind of guy. period. That's just me. I like them. I like them a lot. So they had a good time. Did they go on an excursion? I can't quite remember if they did anything like fun this episode. It was more or less about his depression and at the table and their rating system, and they're just, I'm concerned still. So to recap, because I'm almost done, Bennett and Amelia, again, is my favorite couple. Have no complaints about them. Woody and Imani, my second favorite couple. Have no complaints about them. I think they will still be together after the show is over. Bennett and Amelia will still be together. Christina and Henry, of course not. I don't think they're going to make it through the season. Miles and Karen, it's a 50-50 chance right now. And lastly, Brett and Olivia, darling. Brett and Olivia. So we have Brett and Olivia, and they were, this episode, I was not liking really either of them this episode, to be honest. And I'm gonna tell you why. I liked Olivia because she's smart, she's intellectual, she's a nurse practitioner, and she approaches everything in that way, and that's what I don't like. She's analytical, she's a leader, she's an alpha dog, she's an alpha male, period. You can tell she has a lot going on in her personal life, in her job, and her career, and she brings that home. So they were just really just getting on my nerves, like. So I like her, that she's vocal about a lot of things. She asks a lot of questions. That I do like about her. And that's probably because she's a nurse and she have to, do all those questions, ask about, learn about a lot of things. So that's a good thing. She's very, she asks the right questions. And I've said that before. I like that about her because she asks the right questions up front, so she knows what she's dealing with. On the flip token, that I didn't like today was her approach to her marriage. She was approaching it as a business situation. She pretty much was just like, this is what I got going on. I'm a nurse. I home late. Sex ain't gonna be all the time. It's gonna be on my schedule when I good and goddamn feel like it. I spend every day with my friends, and I don't really want to change that. You know what I mean? She just doesn't seem like she's inflexible to compromise at all. It's like, this is what I'm used to, and I ain't trying to change it because you in it. So I will change a little bit. I don't have to see my friends every day, but just know I'm not going to not see them. And he's simply asking, well, what about the marriage? Well, there's going to be time for, it's at bed, it's at night, I come home at night. But he's like, well, what about the marriage though? As much time as you put in your job, which could be 12, 14-hour days, and then you spend the rest of your days with your friends. What about your marriage? And that was a valid question on his part, because he was just looking like, well, do you have room for me in your life? Because your life is already full. Do you have room for me? And that was a valid question. And I don't think she even is thinking about that. She's just pretty much thinking like, outside of me, I'm talking to my parent. And it just doesn't seem like she's willing to compromise on that part. It just seems like that she is dead set on how she's used to living her life, and she made it a point to tell him that she likes the finer things in life. She likes to spend money. She likes to travel. She likes expensive wines. And I get it. You make a lot of money. You want to live a certain way. You know what I mean? And if she's used to that, you can't be mad at her because she's used to a certain way of life. And he seems like a little bit more carefree. and he don't really care about all that stuff. He makes an okay amount of money for himself, and he's not like shooting for the stars, you know. He's not money hungry. He may be though, but it doesn't seem like he's like money hungry, or that kind of stuff is really important to him. And he didn't even flinch when they told him about each other's finances, and he was like, does it bother you that you make more money than me? He was like, because I can care less. You know, I thought that was kind of cute and sweet and dearie, like, because some men probably would have found that an issue, like, you know, threatened because his girlfriend may have more money than him, and she may, you know, treat him a little different because he make less. But he wasn't tripping at all, and he was just like, just went off my back. You know what I mean? So I sometimes like him and sometimes I don't, because sometimes he just give off an energy about him that he just don't give a damn, or he's just going through the motions and it's just an experiment for him, and you know, some things just, you know, whatever. He said he's not a big person. He likes to talk stuff out and stuff, but once his feelings got hurt, yeah, all that went out the window, because he ain't talking about nothing, because he was at the table. And then they was like, what's the rating system? And he was like, that's the grading. And then all of a sudden, boom, he heard his wife like, it's a 7. Oh, he got crushed. Honey, I was like, oh, is he a Cancer? Because he got crushed, honey. His feelings was like, and he couldn't bounce back from that until the next day, honey. He was just like, what? I'm a 7? I thought I was way above a 7. You giving me a 7? Well, what the fuck is a 10? So, like, he got crushed, and she got frustrated with him because he just was not. He was not cooperating after that, because his feelings just was not there. He was in the bed like, what do you want? And she just couldn't have. She was like, talk to me, and he was just like, what do you want me to do, lie to you? So I could tell he could get real petty, like he get real petty based when he mad. And I see that's going to be probably one of her triggers, because he going to get real petty based with her. Every time he get mad or he irritates the shit out of her, he going to get real petty based and aggravate the shit out of her. You can already tell. You can already tell that's a petty man. So I'm like, is that man a Cancer? Because he sure act like one. Like 100% he act like a straight up Cancer. I was like, so, but I just, she's too rigid for me, and that's a good way of being a nurse practitioner. And I understand why she's a nurse practitioner, because her personality matches her profession. But she says she's a social person. I want to see her outside of, you know, outside of their honeymoon, in her real life and having real fun. Everybody else is having concerns about him. Oh, and then the girl was and so I want to see them outside of paradise, so I can see actually how she live her life. Real talk, how she live her life. Because she says she's a social butterfly. She do a lot of things, and she hang around a lot of people, and you know, she like to find wine, and she eat out every night. So how in the hell do you do all this if your work schedule is what it is, and you're so busy, and you still eat out every night? Like, why? But I want to see her actual life outside of honeymoon. So that is the episode. I hope you guys like my review. Very straightforward review. I don't think they're going to last. They might last to the marriage and probably say that they want to stay together, but after that, I don't think this couple is going to actually stay together after. But I do think this is a couple that's going to want to make it to the end and say I do, but I don't think they're going to last past 6 months after the show is over. So that's my review of Married at First Sight season 11 episode 10. And thank you guys for joining me for another sit down with Regina. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Like, share on, follow me on my social media, Sleepless in LVNV on Instagram, and Keyshawn Maurice Robinson on Facebook and TikTok. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm about to finish work. I have about an hour or so to go before work is done. I'm sorry about the ringing. As you see, Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.